Slightly later than billed, the news now on BBC One Northern Ireland with Martine Croxall.
The mayor of Kharkiv in northeast Ukraine says all Russian troops have withdrawn from around the city. Putin's forces spent weeks bombing the area, but his soldiers have now retreated towards the Russian border. Campaigners say the government's obesity strategy is falling apart as it delays a ban on junk food multi-buy deals. And the winners of the Eurovision Song Contest are Ukraine. Favourites from the start, they won the public vote to take the title. Liverpool keep alive hopes of a quadruple title run with victory over Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Good morning. The mayor of Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, has told the BBC that Russian forces have withdrawn from the city area and are heading for the Russian border. Ihor Terekhov said that shelling had stopped and that residents were gradually returning. Kharkiv, in the northeast of the country, has been heavily bombarded since the start of the invasion, with hundreds of civilians killed. This evening, President Zelensky has said the situation in the eastern Donbass region remained very difficult. Our correspondent Laura Bicker sent this report from Dnipro.
Yesterday, these smouldering ruins were a home. Russian bombs blasted the bricks and mortar, but they've not broken the spirit of Vera Kosolipenko.
We were standing here as everything exploded.
My sunshine, you're alive. Her neighbours were relieved to find each other. The Russians have now left here, retreated back to near the border. The battle for Kharkiv and its surrounding villages has been won for now.
Russia's withdrawal from Kharkiv marks a breaking point, according to the head of military intelligence in Ukraine. What he means is that forces can be sent east to the Donbass and south towards the besieged port of Mariupol, areas that are seeing the most intense fighting.
Just south of Dnipro, Ukrainian forces test out new grenade launchers, weapons supplied from European allies. Russian troops are not far from here. The Ukrainians hope they can push them back and replicate the success of Kharkiv. But even with new weapons, a quick victory is far from assured. Both sides agree on just one thing: this conflict will continue.
Today nobody can predict how long this war will last, but we're doing everything in order to free our land as soon as possible. This is our priority, every day to work towards making the war shorter. However, it doesn't depend only on our people, unfortunately.
The collective West has declared total hybrid war on us, and it's hard to predict how long all this will last. But it's clear the consequences will be felt by everyone, without exception.
The Ukrainians hold on to every hope. The battered city of Mariupol has still not completely fallen, despite taking the most intense battering of this war. Encircled and under constant bombardment, a small fighting force battles on. Russia is still trying to show its strength and issued its own propaganda of troops on the offensive. But there's no doubt the loss of Kharkiv will be a major blow to the Kremlin, and both sides are now digging in for what could be a long and protracted struggle. Laura Bicker, BBC News, Dnipro.
The Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned his Finnish counterpart that joining NATO and abandoning Finland's neutral status would be a mistake. The leaders have spoken by phone. Finland is expected to announce a formal request for NATO membership in the coming days. It comes as elite troops take part in NATO's largest special forces exercise right across the military alliance's eastern flank. Our defence correspondent Jonathan Beale has been given rare access to see them train.
In the Black Sea, a team of special forces from Romania, the US and the UK are about to raid a ship that's been hijacked. This is just an exercise, but there's a real war nearby in neighbouring Ukraine. These elite troops could be part of any NATO response if the conflict spreads. This is a rare glimpse into the sensitive world of covert special operations, and we've been asked not to reveal identities.
I think everyone is, every person is a little bit worried when it's a conflict next to its border. It's a normal thing, but it is what it is. We have to be prepared.
Tensions have been rising here on the Black Sea ever since Russia first invaded Crimea and now with its war in Ukraine. NATO's response has been to dramatically step up its military presence and activities in this region. And they're already learning vital lessons from the war in Ukraine. In Latvia, another NATO country that shares a border with Russia, Special Forces medics are already putting those lessons into practice. How to keep a seriously injured soldier alive when aircraft risk being shot down. We were asked not to use this US Special Forces doctor's real voice.
Ground transport takes hours, sometimes days. We're looking to see what medical strategies you can use en route in the back of the van in these prolonged transports. What are the risks? Vibrations from the vehicle knocking a tourniquet loose, for example. Things that we didn't have to consider when we have this very robust system to deliver patients rapidly to the surgeon. Now we're having to retrain ourselves.
Special forces from the US, UK and other NATO nations practice at night the final phase of the mission, landing a US Special Forces plane on a narrow road instead of a runway to extract the patient. Ukraine's Air Force has been doing the same after some of its runways were damaged. In Lithuania, just 50 miles from another border with Russia, another team of NATO Special Forces are honing their skills, mounting a complex raid on an enemy position. NATO Special Forces believe training together like this makes them a potent deterrent to any adversary. But more than that, they think it's already paying off for Ukraine's own Special Forces, who they helped train before the war began. Jonathan Beale, BBC News.
10 people have been killed and 3 injured in a supermarket shooting in Buffalo in the state of New York. An 18-year-old gunman is said to have entered the shop this afternoon with a high-powered rifle before surrendering to authorities. The FBI say that the shooting is being investigated as a hate crime and racially motivated violent extremism. Health campaigners have criticised the government's plan to delay a ban on multi-buy deals for junk food and pre-watershed TV advertising by a year. Ministers say they're putting the policy on junk food deals on hold to help with the cost of living crisis. Here's Olivia Richwald.
Succulent tower burger smothered in spicy Italian-style sauce.
As a country, Britain is rather chubby, and under the government's obesity strategy, junk food adverts would have been banned before 9 p.m. Multi-buy offers on food high in fat, sugar and salt would also have been banned. But today, the proposed junk food bans were delayed by 12 months.
If the government doesn't see through these relatively straightforward measures, which are, by the way, in line with where history is taking us, I worry that its commitment to health disparities, to the 10-year cancer programme, to the 5 more years of healthy life longevity commitment, to our whole commitment to making Britain healthier.
According to the latest figures for England, more than 14% of 4 and 5-year-olds were classed as obese last year. By the age of 10 and 11, that rose to 25%. Some of the government's obesity strategy has already been put into place, like new calorie counts that now appear on menus. But is that enough?
Shoppers in Leeds had mixed views on whether a delay on banning junk food deals would stop them eating more healthily.
I do believe that they deserve a treat and they shouldn't have to put us mums out of pocket to take them and do that.
To be fair, there have been some places where they have taken off multi-buy offers. I think it should be put on healthy foods maybe, to stop obesity around the UK. But of course with cost of living crisis, it's difficult all over the place.
The British Retail Consortium says supermarkets have been moving away from multi-buy offers anyway, but it welcomed the delay to changes in advertising. Campaigners are urging retailers to promote offers on healthy food instead. In the meantime, the battle between bulging waistlines and skinny wallets continues. Olivia Richwald, BBC News, Leeds.
favourites Ukraine have won the Eurovision Song Contest. They took the title after winning the public vote. Singer Sam Ryder ended the UK's disappointing run of results with 466 points. He was voted top by the jury, but finished second after viewers voted. Our correspondent Mark Lowen is in Turin, and it was a nail-biting end.
It certainly was, Martine. The UK had been waiting a quarter of a century for a Eurovision victory, and it came so close tonight, winning the jury votes, but in the end, the public gave their support and their sympathy to Ukraine. Now, there are some reports tonight that some voting irregularities are being investigated by the Eurovision team, but in the end, a country torn apart by war has been given something to smile about. A warning that my report contains some flash photography.
The colour, the kitsch, the camaraderie. Europe's fanfare of fun came to Turin. There's politics here, with Ukraine an early favourite and Russia booted out. But minds from across Europe were on the music.
It's magical, it's special. The feeling, people come together, people celebrating together from all over the world.
Oh, I would be so proud of my country.
You get 12 points for the outfits.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's broken, it keeps breaking.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the UK tonight?
Oh, we're just so excited because we think we've got a really good chance.
Let the Eurovision Song Contest 2022 begin!
And then it was off, drawing almost 200 million TV viewers with its unique mix of glam, glitter and glorious tunes. A Europe seeing war for the first time in 3 decades coming together in a plea for peace before the entries took to the stage. The sparkles of Spain belting it out with slow-mo, her sequin-filled dance anything but. The hosts Italy with a heady falsetto all-male love song. Sweden, Eurovision once gave birth to ABBA, remember them? The hand washer of Serbia, asking why Meghan Markle's hair is so shiny. And then the UK, too many nul points in recent years, but with Spaceman, a bookie's favourite, Sam Ryder hoping his stratospheric notes would match his points. Up against Ukraine's folk hip-hop number, one band member staying to fight, the others getting special permission to leave the country. Back home in Kiev, the song has won hearts broken by war, proud of their homeland for standing up to Russia, and now for standing tall in Europe. As the votes came in from the European juries, it was heading for a close race. The UK, Sweden, Spain and Ukraine leading at the top, before it went to the public votes.
183 points.
And then the UK had dared to dream big, but Sam Ryder was pipped at the post by Ukraine. Eurovision triumph in its darkest moment. The spaceman had hoped to take the UK over the moon, but in the end the public was with Ukraine. Fighting back on the ground, standing proud on stage, living up to its national slogan, Glory to Ukraine. Mark Lowen, BBC News, Turin.
Highlights of today's FA Cup final follow this news bulletin, so if you're waiting to find out what happened, it's time to leave the room. Liverpool have won the famous trophy for the first time in 16 years. They beat Chelsea on penalties, a repeat of the result in this season's League Cup final. Liverpool won the shootout 6-5. Our sports correspondent Nesta McGregor reports from Wembley.
Another event this weekend where you represented by waving your flag. Although in the FA Cup, it's not a case of nil point, more point to prove. An occasion where even brotherly love is put on hold. As Liverpool chased an English football record of 4 trophies in a season, Chelsea were trying to avoid 3 FA Cup final defeats in a row. Liverpool started freshest and fastest, but Luis Diaz's finish didn't match his clever run. 30 minutes in, the Reds were forced into a substitution, and it was a key player, top scorer Mo Salah. A goalless first half, and after the break, Chelsea settled. They came closest to getting on the score sheet when, from a free kick, Marcos Alonso grazed the post. as full-time neared one final chance.
Off the post.
Again, so close. So that meant extra time and a chance for extra words of encouragement between players and from fans. When either team failed to score, penalties would decide the winner. So when Mason Mount missed, a successful Liverpool spot kick would win it.
Here's Tsimikas. Liverpool's hero.
Honestly, I think it was the toughest game I've played this season, but we respect it. It's normal because it's final. And we have 2 more cups to go. We will see.
Liverpool have the FA Cup.
So Liverpool's second trip to Wembley this season, and the second time they have lifted a trophy here. The quest for the quadruple, 4 trophies in one season, lives on. From Wembley, Nesta McGregor, BBC News.
Celtic have received the Scottish Premiership trophy today following a comprehensive victory in their final game of the season. They enjoyed a 6-0 win over Motherwell, ending their campaign with a 32-game unbeaten streak. Celtic had already clinched their 10th title in 11 seasons thanks to a draw at Dundee United on Wednesday. And this afternoon they were able to celebrate in front of their home fans. Tomorrow morning at 9 on BBC One's Sophie Rayworth's guests will include the Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng, former Labour leader Ed Miliband and former Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt. That's all from us. Good night.